Bonjour again, as opposed to Kia ora, you get it. Welcome to Tarmac, I am Dave.
I'm Matthew, and today we're here with one of our favorite small cars on the market. It's the Peugeot 208, but this is the electric one. This is the E208.
That's right, it's the smallest of the bunch and fully electric. Can't be bad. Come and let's take a look at this. But before you do, please tick the like and subscribe and make sure you keep in touch with us for the other ones. As many of you will probably know, the 208 is the descendant of the 207, which is also the descendant of the 206, which is actually the most best-selling Peugeot of all time. So this has big shoes to fill, even though it's a compact car. This is the second generation, so finally Peugeot have kept with the same nameplate and are moving forward. Fingers crossed there'll be a third, which I'm sure there will be. Looking a little bit closer, now I'm not going to go too much into its size and shape. I mean, it is a small compact hatchback. It's only 4 meters in length and 1.5 meters in height. It also weighs 2 tons, so realistically, just like me, it's short and fat, which is pretty good. Looking around, I mean, because it is the battery version, there are some differences from the normal 208. So first thing you'll notice from the cascading grille, these little inserts are the same color as the car. So this is white, so these little inserts are white, and you know, if you have the yellow one or the blue one, these would be the same color here. The other thing is the line here is called dichroic. So basically, depending on which angle you look at, it actually comes in a different light. So it's really good looking from there. The rest of it, obviously, it is a GT, so it is sporty, but we'll go on to all that sort of stuff in a while. The big bit about this E208 is these feet here. They're diamond cut. They're a little bit more wind friendly, let's say. So diamond cut alloys, 17 inches, and you know, help go through the wind just that little bit better. And also right back here, lovely E badge, makes you know that it's a 208E. There you go. Round the rear, a nice roofline spoiler and wiper blade, another dichroic, I love saying that, line, Peugeot in lettering, nice claw tail lights, which is good from here, and obviously the GT badging and E badging from there. And also when you open up, which is done manually, 311 litres of boot space. So I don't know, reasonably sizable for a car this size. Let's check under the bonnet. Under here is a fully electric motor that basically gives you 100 kilowatts of power and 260 newton meters of torque. It actually goes from the start quite quickly, so it actually does 8.3 seconds 0 to 100, which is not bad. Behind it all is a 50 kilowatt hour battery that will give you 348 kilometers of range WLTP. So it does actually, when it's fully charged, give you quite a lot going on, and also can be fast charged at around about 80% in roughly 30 minutes. So gets you on the move quite quickly and moves quite quickly. Speaking of things that really should be moving a lot quicker, Matthew's inside and he'll show you what's going on with that.
Can someone tell Dave that it's the weekend and I'm not supposed to be moving fast or hyper quickly or whatever? But something that does move and flows really well actually is Peugeot's iCockpit over here. That's what they call the general layout of the dashboard, and just the style and the fluidity of it is really actually beautiful. It starts off with this soft sort of faux leather kind of material, and it flows down to a fake carbon sort of looking but soft touch material, and then you get a bit of a chrome highlight, some gloss black plastic, and then LED lighting as well, because this is the GT model. Even the way the screen and the 3D instrument cluster is mounted in front of you, they all kind of fit and flow really nicely. You can tell that there's a serious focus on design that's been put into this cabin here. That design focus translates to the seats, which are nicely bolstered on the sides here and stitched in a really nice contrast stitching, blue and green on the inside here, because those are both green colors if you like. And the seats themselves have this nice sort of Alcantara material to them and are generally really supportive all around where you need them to be. Moving to the center console, well, yeah, there are still some physical buttons here, which is nice to see. So the volume is still controlled by a knob there. You get basic controls for the AC, so that's more the temperature and whether to actually turn the AC on or off. But for things like the fan speed, you need to go into the touchscreen for that. It's got one set of buttons along here, like piano keys, and then another set behind there for things like the electric charge information and the car settings and your audio. So there's plenty going on over here. Below that, you get two USB charging ports. So one is actually USB-C and one is USB-A. So really smart thinking there. And it's also got wireless charging for your phone. Another difference is that you can hide your phone completely from view by just shutting that cubby over there. Generally, Peugeot is not renowned for their build quality, but this E208 is quite solidly built actually. Center console is screwed in nicely. Even so much as this flap, it doesn't feel flimsy. It's got a nice solid click to it, so that's all good there. You also get some more storage down there. You get two cup holders here, one for your coffee cup, and might I add that it is actually deep enough to hold the coffee cup. It won't take off the lid when you put them in there. So that's some smart thinking there. And then the piece de resistance. That's the center console cubby here. Because firstly, you get a removable space for your key right there. And then just the depth of this thing. I mean, it must be a foot deep. Like, look, I can get most of my arm in there. That's pretty crazy. I'm not sure what it's meant to fit that long, but the space is there if you ever need it. Speaking of things that are there when you need it, how about that infotainment screen? Let's jump in there. Now this infotainment screen is angled towards the driver, which is always nice for the view here. And one thing you'll notice that's strange is this little piece of plastic over here. Well, that's actually built to kind of steady your hand when you're using the infotainment screen. It's a really smart feature, but because it's covered in shiny materials, it does reflect the sun straight into your eyes on a sunny day like today, which is not ideal. But something that is ideal is the way it's laid out. So take a look at this. This is the media screen, and you can use either the shortcuts on the side here to go into settings, for example, or you can use the shortcut buttons down here to go into the car settings, or you can take a look at your EV information, so how much battery you've got left and where it's going to. In this case, it's only front wheel drive, so as you can see there, everything will go to the front wheels. You can also select the audio, or you can go into the air conditioning over there. So there's plenty of shortcuts that are mounted onto these buttons here, so it makes the system really easy to use. So something that's unique to Peugeot, not just this layout and their iDigital system, is this, of course, the steering wheel, which is so small and it's a stubby little thing, but it feels actually nice to hold. And despite the fact that you have to have it mounted low so you can see the cockpit in front of you, it doesn't really feel that different. It does feel comfortable to hold. I don't know if it's that obvious on camera there, but where I'm sitting, it's really obvious to see the difference in the dimensions of the screen, if you like. So on the far left, you have the range, which is all kind of flush. And then in the middle, you have your media source, where the actual source name sticks out from the display. And then on the right side, you have the speed that floats away from the display. And then to the right of that, you have the gear and also a bar that shows you whether you're charging the battery or, you know, which sort of mode you're in. So it's really smartly designed with all the basic information you need. And then the things that flash and can kind of draw attention away from your eyes, like the indicator or the warning lights, are all mounted on the side here. So some really smart design there from Peugeot, and it almost reminds me of one of those virtual reality goggle things. Another thing that's quite smart and intelligent is the way this E208 drives. So let's do that.
So I have to say off the bat that it's good to be in something that's small and compact and hatchbacky rather than all the big SUVs that we've been driving around and reviewing. This is actually kind of cute and, I don't know, obviously heavy, so obviously I've got a straight affinity with it, which is cool. The E208 is amazing. I've driven, or we've reviewed the 208. This is the battery version, and it really does make a difference. It's quicker off the mark, the weight's really low, and I don't know, it drives really nicely.
And actually, this is the sort of right size car for most people, to be honest. Most people who just commute to work as by themselves or with somebody else. It's just perfect for two people. And what further adds to the fun factor of this E208 is that little steering wheel, because when you're driving it around, it almost feels like a go-kart. It's just so easy to swing around, and because it's electric and the batteries are along the floor, it grips the corners really well too. It's just a fun car all around.
Absolutely. The full lock is minimal. It's so to get where you want to go and point in the direction you want to go, very simple. And there's something almost PlayStation like about it, which is great. Can we say PlayStation, or is that trademarked? Anyway, visibility for a car this size is great. Windows are big, the rear is fine, the mirrors are good. So all-round visibility is not bad. There's nothing really compromised, which is great. And when it comes to seat comfort, these they're very sporty and very comfortable, even in the bolsters for the corners. This is a nippy car. It's not mega fast, but you can still throw it into corners nicely, and it does nicely.
And despite the fact that this is actually either a petrol or a diesel car that's been retrofitted with an electric system, you don't feel a lack of space in the interior. They haven't raised the seats to fit the batteries on, and you can't even see the battery pack underneath really. It's been designed so well. And speaking of that battery pack, Peugeot actually does an 8-year or 160,000 kilometer warranty, and if your battery drops to 70% of the level it was originally, they will actually refurbish it. So it's either Peugeot guaranteeing that their batteries are so good, or it might be something that drives them broke. Who knows?
Time will tell, I guess. And also range-wise, on the thing of battery, there's actually plenty of range. 340 odd kilometers is quite a lot. It's a substantial week's worth of commute, or even quite a long drive. And what you're saying is that it actually, or what we're saying is that it only takes half an hour to get over 80%, which is great. So you're, going on the long trips, you can just plug it in, have your coffee, back and away you go. Job's a good one.
Absolutely. And with that 50 kilowatt hour battery pack, this little Peugeot can actually take up to 100 kilowatts in charge. So it is smart in that way. And then the only annoying thing is when you are charging it at home, you realize that when you need to store your cables, they only go at the top of the boot floor. There's no space underneath to store the charging cables, which is in a way something that they haven't thought of. But I guess you can't have everything, right?
On the topic of annoyance, I still, that beat that it takes to start these vehicles in Peugeot, a lot of the French cars seem to be doing this. Can't just switch it on and away you go. You have to hold it down, wait a second, and away you go. Or you get this fire alarm sounding if you're trying to get out. It's like all hell is broken loose. But small price to pay, particularly when you go for this 3D cockpit or instrument cluster. It's supposed to make a difference. I mean, I have checked on them, as I've spoken to Peugeot about the fact that having the speed and stuff a little bit closer to you does give you that fraction of a second response time better. It sounds like sales talk, but apparently it is true.
Well, one thing I can tell you for sure that is true is that when you're the passenger and you're looking at that 3D cockpit, it does give you a bit of a headache. And almost, I wanted to make a joke about it if we had the car in the Vertigo blue color, but this is the white, so I can't make that joke anymore. But what that means is that if you're the passenger, don't stare at the driver's speed.
Yeah, just know that it's within the right speed limits, sort of. And that is the funny thing, the speed limit. I mean, it is quick to get up to that 8.30 to 100. It's quick. It feels like you're speeding off. For a compact sporty hatch, this does tick the boxes from there.
It might be a heavy little electric car, but because it is electric, that instant torque and that power that you get, you completely forget about its weight when you're driving along. And it just has so much go, and as you know, with 340 kilometers of range, it will keep going for a long time.
Does have cruise control, although in this model it's just normal cruise control rather than adaptive. The normal, because this is a sort of a British import for the press, but the actual Kiwi one will have adaptive cruise, so we'll have a few of the extra toys as far as safety and driver convenience goes, but overall pretty well fitted out. Suspension wise in the corner, it feels tight, it feels sporty, so you can throw it into corners. That low weight, as you were saying, the low center of gravity, just feels kind of sexy.
And I know that some other journalists had some complaints about the ride being too firm, but how it's been tuned for our market here is actually just right. We've been going over some speed bumps and some rougher roads, and you can't really feel anything coming through in the cabin. And I think that's also a testament to Peugeot's build quality, how much it's improved from their older cars, where this newer car, everything is tight, everything is solid, there's no creaks, nothing looks like it's gonna fall apart. It's been solidly put together.
Yeah, and also actually on these dirty roads and these unkempt roads, it's actually quite quiet. So the sound quality or the sound buffering has been really done well too. So pretty much thumbs up.
It's the perfect cabin to enjoy that 6-speaker audio system, and a thumbs up from me too.
So there you have it, the new Peugeot E208. It's compact, a little bit heavy, story of my life, and just goes for hours and hours. I mean, it just is such a nice EV and priced so well and compact for the city, but actually feels pretty sturdy on the main road as well. So a big thumbs up from me.
And I agree with that. It's a really good entry-level electric car, and there's a certain fun and zest of life that it has about it, which makes things really cheery. Cheery indeed.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We're just going to go and get some more French stuff. I don't know, whatever that may be. See you next time.